In a previous video, I showed you how to compute contrast. Now, it's very important that you know how to compute contrast because every single figure we will discuss in this video depends on contrast, such as sum squares, effect, and linear coefficients. So if your contrast numbers are wrong, then everything else will come out wrong. Now we'll start with sum of squares. Sum of squares, this is the equation for sum of squares. It's the contrast squared, which we have here for each one of the factors, and it has a divisor. Now this divisor, n, is the number of replicates, which is 4 for this example, and k is the number of main factors, which is 3 here for A, B, and C. Now this divisor is 1 over 4 times 2 to the third power. 2 to the third is 8 times 4 is 32. So you have the contrast squared divided by 32 equals, for factor A, sum squares for factor A equals the contrast to the second power divided by 32 equal, for factor B, contrast to the second power divided by 32. So on and so forth. And since I have my table set up in a way I could drag the cells, I'm just going to do so. Now make sure if you're going to drag your cells to use the many advantages of Excel that you have your table set up in the same way that I have mine set up. Now linear coefficients. Linear coefficients also has another equation with a divisor. But the quick and easy way is to take the sum of squares for a certain factor and divide it by its contrast. And that's the easiest way to figure linear coefficients. Now, the linear coefficients are the constants that are multiplied by the factor in the linear regression model equation. The betas, if you remember that equation, that beta 1 for A, beta sub 2 for B, beta sub 3 for C, and so on and so forth. So it's the sum squared divided by the contrast. So for factor A, sum of squares divided by contrast. Factor B, sum of squares divided by contrast. Now in this case you can drag the cells down as well. Now effect. Factor effect is double the linear coefficients. So you could take the linear coefficient and multiply it by 2. So for factor A, linear coefficient times 2. Factor B, linear coefficient times 2. And you could drag the cells down as well.